right, John, we have finally reached the seventh generation of consoles, starting with the Xbox 360, because Microsoft saw the power of getting to the market first, and by God, they were going to do it with this generation. And you know what? It kind of worked out for them. The 360 is probably Microsoft at its peak as a console creator and just having that success. And I think they've been fighting to recapture that ever since. And because of that, we have quite the range of games to look through when it comes to a top 10 for the system.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Xbox 360 is just they went all out with this thing. And it's really interesting looking back at the console when it launched cuz 360 didn't have Wi-Fi. It was just Ethernet only. You had to get that USB dongle that you plugged in with the little antenna. It didn't have HDMI. It was just component out for the first few
Oh my God,
years.
that's right.
It was like that in between of like starting HD and going full on in. This stuff became like standard with revisions, but it's so funny looking back. Of course, though, there's the red ring. It had a lot of issues that way, but the
Hmm.
games were always good. And it feels like a lot of modern stuff really just leapt into its standard here, and not that much has changed really when you look at like where Call of Duty began, where Halo went. It's all established and kind of went on from here.
Yeah, very much so. And I consider continuing my whole trend of not owning Xbox consoles, but my friends certainly had them. I had ways to play it. It's just I did not pick up the 360 because, well, I was diehard Sony, and so far, Xbox hadn't grabbed me when it came to the original, and the red ring scared the hell out of me. I everybody
Mm.
I knew in college experienced the red ring of death, and I was like, do I want to get this console?
Yeah. I mean, for a while, it was Xbox were winning most of the generation because it was so much cheaper. Because
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 priced itself really high. And yeah, obviously there were tech issues with 360, but you had a really low price, some great exclusive games in the first few years. And then as it went on, PS3 actually came out as the winner, but it had a pretty uphill battle. I think it was with
Mm.
the PS3 Slim and Super Slim when it became quite budget. That's when it kind of overtook. But 360 was dominating for I think like the first 5 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you wanted third party, you went 360 because you were just going to get a better experience there. It took a while for developers to figure out the PS3, and we'll get into that when we get to the top 10 PS3. But one of the best examples that I always hear about was Bayonetta on
Oh,
360
sure.
was
Yeah.
way better than Bayonetta on PS3.
Yeah, PS3 was really hard to develop for. There was the Cell processor, which, if you were making a game exclusively for PS3, it was no issue, or well, it
Mhm.
was less of an issue. But when you're taking an established, Windows and 360 game, porting it over was usually going to give you worse results. So, like
Yeah.
90% of the time, games ran worse on PS3, despite it being more powerful. And this really was the era that third parties just became a standard multi-platform thing. Like Call of Duty was huge in this era. GTA 4 and
Mhm.
GTA 5 were huge in this era. And that's what most people were playing. Like the exclusives mattered, but they weren't really the dominant thing anymore.
Not really. And we'll have to see if that reflects it. But I just offhand, before we even get into any of it, to me, I like just making my own personal list. Um, going through all the games and looking through it, because I do have some games that I just associate more with the 360, and that's what I tried to focus on when I was submitting my own personal list. Um, the the original Xbox had a stronger lineup of first party games.
You might be right. Like if you count all the exclusive Sega stuff too, like Panzer Dragoon and
Mhm.
Outrun, I think you're right then. But yeah, some of my favorite Xbox games from first party were in this era. Like
Yeah.
Halo 3 is still my number one.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there's still amazing stuff, but it just sheer variety and honestly the
yeah.
amount. That's one thing that threw me off. Is just like, wow, there really wasn't as much just exclusive as I remember.
Yeah, there was a shift.
For it.
I feel like the first 3 years were really strong, and then when Connect was introduced, they sort of stopped. Like, we got some sequels, we got, like, Halo 4 and Fable 3, but, that big power they started with really went
Yeah,
down, and they started doing a lot of, like, Connect Sports and, Connect
they
Adventures,
they
and
started
then we
chasing the casual market when they
yeah.
already because they was like, oh, we already have the hardcore. We don't need to court them anymore. Let's go after the casual and get that Wii audience, and then it didn't. were paying out. They just kind of lost both because nobody
Yeah,
was interested in the Connect, and well, not that many people interested in Connect, and hardcore started going to the Sony. It was very interesting. The timeline of the 360 is fascinating.
it is. Like, those first few years are crazy. They chased Japan a lot in the first few years too. There's a lot of
Yeah.
shmups on 360, like
Oh yeah.
Dodonpachi and Death Smiles. They
I'd
were
see that Death
exclusive.
Smiles box out all the time.
Yeah. And, Tales of Vesperia, I think that wasn't that exclusive at first, at least?
At first, and the PS3 version did come, but it never came to
Yeah,
the States, and that always killed me because I was like, wanted to try that, and then, hey,
yeah.
new stuff, and they never localized it until we got that definitive edition.
And then Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, were published by Xbox. So they were really trying to make a foothold, and they did, and they really did, but
Yeah,
then for some reason, they stopped.
yeah. The methodology behind that is it would be fascinating to take a look at and
Yeah.
see what happened there because I'd love to see where the shift happened for the 360 and then how they just dive bombed with the Xbox One and
Mm.
their poor choices there. But that's an entire other discussion. We got some top games to talk about because again there's a lot of good games on the 360. So let's go ahead and get to that. Some quick stats before we get into it, as per usual. There's a lot of variety here. It takes a while to go through all these because of all the variations. All know that by now. I have not fully counted every single game, but I do have solid numbers for our top 50 that we usually go over. Um, 682 total votes among 329 plus games. Honestly, it's probably going to get 400 plus at the end by the end of this. Looking at the rest of my list, what I have to go through. So, very solid selection of games
Mhm.
to just look through. So you got quite the variety here. Also, this might be some of the closest these games have ended up in a long time. Like it is shockingly close between some of these,
Wow.
where positions, as I was counting in batches, kept shifting for a lot of them. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Cool. So, yeah, very, very close ties here then.
oh yeah, like towards the end, the number 10 that was the game that was number 10 got kicked to number 11 and something else took its place.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
that does not happen. Usually a top 10 stays a top 10. But no, that there is actually a shift here. So let's get to it. Speaking of, John, what is our number 10 Xbox 360 game of all time?
It's so hard to predict. You've got to get in the mindset of the viewer because, 360 was a big mainstream machine, lots of Call of Duties, lots of GTAs. Uh, I feel like Lost Odyssey is in this list somewhere, and it's perhaps niche enough to not be in the top 5, but I think it's a great game. So I'm gonna say Lost Odyssey number 10.
Lost Odyssey, number 10. At number 10, it is not Lost Odyssey.
Mm.
Instead, we have the orange box.
Oh, okay, okay. I wasn't sure if this was associated with 360 because it's such a big Steam thing, but this is why I
I
first
honestly
played it.
I do associate it more with the 360 because it was such a massive deal. Like, oh my
Mm.
god, here's Half-Life 2, the episodes, what is it?
We got Team Fortress 2
Team
and
Fortress
Portal,
and
yeah.
Portal. Yeah, and Portal's a big deal. Like, I actually had to do some number crunching with a bit of this because people would voted for just Portal. And I
Mm,
had to go through the list of, for those people who voted for just Portal and make sure that they weren't also voting for the orange box on the top of that. But no, it was separate. Like a lot of people bought the orange box just remember the orange box
yeah.
just for Portal.
Yeah, this was huge. I hadn't played Half-Life prior to this, so this was my first, Valve exposure on 360, and it's another example where the PlayStation 3 version doesn't run very well, and people did buy this just for Portal, but there were 3 brand new games. It was, Episode 2 Portal and TF2
Yeah.
alongside Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 being included, and they are all, like, some of the best games ever, and they still stand the test of time. People are still playing TF2 today, and I started with Portal because that was like the most enticing one, and
Mhm.
it just casually nudges you into the Valve universe with just the most ingenious mechanics ever. I still think it has a lot of legs up over the sequel too. It's very snappy, very fast paced, and then Half Life Two is just one of the greats. That's probably going to top the PC list, I imagine.
I imagine so. Like I vividly I associate Half-Life 2 more with the PC. I actually had thanks to college, I had a newer PC that I gotten to last me throughout it, and that was strong enough to run Half-Life 2. So playing through that was a wonderful time. Never played the episodes because I was always of the thought like, oh, they'll come out with episode 3 and I'll be able to like experience the whole
Yeah.
thing. Because I had already noticed how there was still like some gaps
Mm.
for there. So like, okay, we'll wait till episode 3 and then I'll just get them all in a row. That never happened. So I never ended up playing episode 1 or 2.
Okay. Well, the day will come. It feels like this year might be the year that Half-Life 3 finally happens, so you got some catching up on the episodes to do.
That'd be
Um,
amazing.
they aren't very long either, so and episode 2 bangs so much.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
Uh,
what one of the best values ever in video
yeah,
games. You
and
know,
we
it's
barely touched Team Fortress 2,
yeah.
because I never played that game. God, did I love the shorts that they put out.
I played it a lot on 360, a lot on PC as well. But the 360 version was never really updated, which is cool because you go to
Okay.
the PC version now and it's a very different game to what it launched with. Because that's obviously a free to play game now. So if
Mhm.
you play it on 360, where the online servers are still active, you just get vanilla TF2. There's none of that paid stuff, no hats, nothing like that. It's just vanilla Team Fortress, and I think that's great. It's really cool to
Yeah,
have an alternative like that.
very much so. So, I wonder if Orange Box would make it in here. It's such a notable collection because, as you said, it's a lot of new games. It's 3 new games and 2 old games. That's
Yeah.
not really that's kind of unheard of when it comes
It
to a
never
collection.
happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
I often hear, like, "What's the best value in gaming?" And you quite often hear, like, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and that's a great collection, but there were no new games, you know? It was
Mhm.
compiling, like, a two-year-old Wii game with 2 GameCube games. This was just launching a bunch of stuff together, and, I feel like they wanted to give Portal this pedestal by, giving it a name like Half-Life, but ironically, I think people kinda came for Portal and then kinda learned about Half-Life through it.
It makes sense. It seems that way because it cannot be understated how huge Portal was at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was a cultural phenomenon. Like any web comic you see had like "cake is a lie" jokes. You couldn't escape it. It was everywhere.
No. It was everywhere. So, yeah, number 10, The Orange Box. Not
What a
too bad of a
cool game to
showing, I'd
start
say.
with. Yeah,
Got 688 points.
nice,
However,
nice.
our number 9 game of all time, beat it by about, 25? Like, it was close,
Okay,
25 points. So,
okay.
John, what is our number 9 360 game of all time?
I'm gonna go with an Xbox Live Arcade game, and I'm
Ooh,
going to say Super Meat Boy.
ooh, Super Meat Boy. That was another huge one that
Mm.
everybody talked about. However, you are incorrect. Instead, sir, you jumped the gun yet again when it comes to these
Oh, Lost
guesses.
Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey at number 9.
Amazing. The best Final Fantasy of this generation.
I wish they would port it. Like, why isn't this getting released on other systems so people can enjoy this? Put it on Steam at the very least. Like, my God, I hear so much about this game and how good it is, but I've never had a chance to try it.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite Final Fantasy X-y in a way. So
Mhm.
it's not crazy open, quite linear, but you've just got this amazing traditional battle system, gorgeous visuals, great music, great characters, and it comes from the mind behind Final Fantasy.
Right.
And I think it's head and shoulders above 13, and I respect 13 in some ways, but I think Lost Odyssey is just a universally better game. It is backwards compatible, so you can play it on Series S, Series X, but yeah, it deserves a modern port. It deserves to be on
Mhm.
Switch 2 and PS5 and Steam.
Get
Everyone should play this.
get recognized in some way because it's great that it's backwards compatible, but it's always like, are people going to go out of the way for it, especially with how Xbox is doing now?
Mm.
It's like I don't think that opens it up as much as you think, but it's just like, come on, just get it out there because I hear it is just it's a fascinating story about somebody with immortality and how
Mm.
that's sort of handled in this. And I don't know much more beyond that because I've purposely stayed completely like away from it.
The day's gonna come where you're gonna play it, and you shouldn't be
Yeah,
spoiled. Um,
exactly.
but it's traditional, but it's still got that kind of scope and production value that you expect from an HD game. So lots of really cool set pieces in the cutscenes and in the combat. Um, And I wish all Mistwalker games would get ported. Like, I want Lost
Yeah.
Story on Switch 2 or whatever else. I want this. I want Blue
Blue
Dragon. I think that'd be kinda cool. I think, yeah, they shouldn't be
yeah.
stuck in 360 limbo.
It it's weird to see the production values of Lost Odyssey and compare it to, like, Fantasian.
Yeah, yeah.
It just feels like I mean, it's a great throwback to the PS1 era, but it's so weird that it's like you feel like Mistwalker would be a bigger studio, but it just never quite got that hit.
No. Great games, but yeah, you're right. They haven't really
Yeah,
had the chance. Lost Story was a very late Wii game. Lost Odyssey was a 360 JRPG. Not many people were interested. They just need a good chance because they deserve it.
yeah, they really do. They really do. But, yeah, I'm glad to see it here. I was wondering if it was gonna make it. I know our audience tends to be RPG focused, but that again, as you said, it's not really a big thing about the 360. So, we'll
Yeah.
see if it actually makes it or not. But, yeah, Lost Odyssey made it in at number 9. So, let's go ahead and move on to our number 8 360 game of all time, beating out Lost Odyssey by about, 84 points.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a game that in its time, had no respect. This was given, like, 5 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s, but the conversation has flipped, and, you now see it regarded as one of the best Sonic games. This is Sonic Unleashed.
Ah, Sonic Unleashed. It's I think the PC version is the recompiled version has also really helped people going
Yeah,
back and evaluating that one. However, it is not Sonic Unleashed. At
okay.
number 8, our first multi-platform title, Batman Arkham City.
Oh, well, you and I have spoken about this game before, and I always tell you I prefer Asylum, but I respect City a lot, though.
City is just such a natural progression.
Yeah.
Like to have that more open world type thing and explore this section of Gotham, get more villains, better boss fights. Like it is an absolute improvement on Asylum. It's just I think we prefer the vibes of Asylum a bit more.
Asylum's very much like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
it
I
very
loved it.
much is a it, yeah, it's its
Yeah.
first Metroidvania, really 3D Metroidvania really since Prime
Pretty
that I can
much,
think
yeah.
of.
It's just this, yeah, but this isn't about Asylum. City, though, it's very cool just gliding around that city, grappling onto buildings, making your way
Mhm.
around Gotham. And you do get that Asylum quality when you go into buildings. I feel like it's not quite as continuous, but it also feels big. You feel like you're not
Yeah.
constrained to the same place the entire time. And I love that you can see Arkham Asylum off in the distance as well. So the world building feels great. And the story really is it's one of the best Batman stories out there.
Yeah, it's the way it weaves in all the different villains, how you're going like basically getting control. It I was gripped. I was gripped the entire time. Just had a blast with it. I and honestly, they weren't able quite to match it with Arkham Knight. I don't think Arkham Knight's as good as this.
No, it's wild what happened to Rocksteady after this because Asylum and City was so good. Arkham Knight
Mhm.
is good as well.
Yeah,
Not
it's
I
fine, but
agree, not
the
the
weakest of the
highest.
trilogy.
Yeah, and then they go like a decade with nothing really, and then they deliver some pretty underwhelming games. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but City and Asylum are both incredible. I yeah,
Mhm.
I would rank Asylum a little bit higher, but City was always the more popular one.
Oh, absolutely. That's when it blew up
Yeah.
in such a way, and it's such a big way. And you know, everybody loves the performances of Hamill and Conroy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
and
they make this game
they're
in a
they're at
lot
their
of ways.
height here. Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah, so good. Also, I can do this because it is not in the top 10. Um, Arkham Origins needs more respect.
Mm,
I think Arkham Origins is better than Arkham Knight. It always gets left out of the collections, and Arkham Origins I think is a lot of fun. It's basically more of the same when it comes to Arkham City, but has a nice, interesting Christmas aesthetic. And in the same way, it's a sort of a proto Spider-Man Miles Morales because it's
I
like
guess
let's take
so.
the city we know, make it Christmas.
Yeah.
Origins is fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I never really thought of it as a Christmas game. You're right, though. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good one. It was done by I think it was Warner Brothers Internal Studios rather than
Yeah, it
Rocksteady,
was not
right?
yeah, it was not done by Rocksteady, so it was
Mm.
something different, but it worked well as a prequel.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our number 7 Xbox 360 game of all time, beating out Arkham City by 4 points.
By 4.
By
Okay.
4 points. It was that close.
Hmm. I'm gonna go with the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Recently got remade, and I feel like Skyrim is associated with so many other platforms, and maybe Oblivion got this one.
All right, going with Oblivion. Okay. At number 7, The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim.
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh, I can get him."
Oh, it deserves it though. You know, it's
Yeah.
it was so huge. I remember I was on the train to college, and there was just this carriage of people talking about Skyrim. It was just this mix of friends of all kind of different groups, just talking about their time in Skyrim. That's when it clicked that this is a game that has gone beyond, just the usual like D&D kind of group. It's an everyone game. And it went on to go to every platform. It sold multiple millions, and yeah, it was massive. It was absolutely massive.
Yeah, my friends always talk about it. I had friends that played Oblivion in college, and I'd see it and be like, "This is looks fine." Didn't really interest me, but Skyrim, something about Skyrim definitely clicked with you, made you want to play it, made me want to try it. It's just so open and had such an interesting world. And God, why was I stuck with the PS3 version? I've never gone back because I definitely encountered that glitch where it's like every time you save,
Oh
the
yeah, the
file
frame rate
gets
gets
bigger
worse.
and bigger and bigger. I'm like, yep, I can't do this anymore. And I just stopped. And I it's a shame because it's just there is a lot to enjoy about this game. There is something really cool about, oh, there's a giant. I'm gonna go piss him off for no apparent reason. Oh God, I'm getting thrown into the sky. That sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's the stories that can come out of it, I think, are what makes Skyrim what it is. And so many I as you said with the conversations, it's just that's just how it's been. And so many games have since run with that, with like, hey, how do you craft your own story? Just what random crap can you get into in this
Mm.
game?
One of my closest friends has, I want to say it's like 6,000 hours on his Steam profile for Skyrim. He lived and breathed this game. Played as like every class. I don't know how he's managed it, but he's just got so much playtime in this. And he loved Oblivion, he loved Morrowind, but this one in particular just really got him. I liked Skyrim a lot too. I think I kind of jived with the vibes of Oblivion a bit more, but there was stuff in
Hmm.
Oblivion which I didn't love, like having to like jump up and down a lot to level up your stamina and all that. Skyrim just made things a bit more palatable. The world was beautiful. When you talk to NPCs, it doesn't just zoom in on their face quite like Oblivion did anymore. It just felt more natural, but it still had that jank. And without the jank, you don't have a Bethesda game. That's part of the
No.
fun. If they ever make a really polished game, then we're in trouble because I think that's gonna that's gonna make everything just feel sterile.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, something's wrong here."
Yeah.
And they ironed out the faces because I remember watching a friend play Oblivion and be like, "Ooh, what is with those faces?" And
Yeah.
then you see them in Skyrim. It's like, okay, this is a little bit better.
Mhm.
Um, I going to different villages, exploring, you get the dragon powers, fighting dragons.
Oh,
Fighting
yeah.
dragons was a big thing because apparently they were rare in the other games. I don't. Again, I'm not too familiar with the older ones, but to have those dragon fights in there,
Yeah, it's just part
which
of the story. Like, you can find dragons in the wild, but it's often pushed upon you in the story to fight them. And yeah, it feels so dynamic because you have different kind of abilities. You can sneak around, you can go like with a bow and arrow, you can use your sword, use your magic powers. It really did feel like you're just sort of crafting your own character in a way that Oblivion never quite felt the same. There was a lot more player controlled guidance here.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And wasn't one of the main dragons in Skyrim voiced by Charles Martinet?
Yeah, Charles Martinet voices a dragon.
It's so
Doesn't
funny.
doesn't sound like Mario, but he is
No,
in
no,
there.
but Martinet can definitely sound not like Mario with
Yeah.
his voice acting roles, but it's still funny to think about.
And as Live Audience said in the 360 version, you can use Connect voice activations for the shouts. So you can shout Fasrodar and it will do it. when Connect recognizes you.
Oh my gosh. At least that's a fun, silly use of Connect.
Yeah, Halo Anniversary did the same thing. I think you shout grenade and you throw a grenade. It's not quicker than pressing LT, but you can still do
No, I feel like that's a dumb idea. That's not as satisfying.
it.
Uh, it'd be it'd be something like if we had the Ace Attorney collection come to 360, then you get to shout, objection like
Yeah.
the old DS games. They could do that.
I mean, there's a microphone in the Switch too. Maybe that'll be a use.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Skyrim, can you really argue it? And the way it's been ported, it's almost like the modern, well, in Resident Evil 4, kind of like the modern Doom, where it just ends up on everything.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I wonder if it would make it. I had a feeling it would.
Mm.
Especially because, as I mentioned with the glitch, at least for this era, other than PC, this was the definitive version.
Yep. I mean, even today, you can't shout Fuss Rodar into the Connect and have it work on Xbox One or PS4. You got to stick with 360 for the definitive experience.
There you go. But then you get Link costumes in
Oh, that's
yeah, as
true. You
in
get
the
the
Switch
Master
version.
Sword in the Switch version. Maybe Switch is the definitive one.
Yeah, it could be. Which is more important, actual shouts or dressing up as Link in a first-person game mostly.
Mm.
But yeah, that is our number 7 360 game of all time. Let's go ahead and move on to number 6, which beat out Skyrim by 17 points.
Wow. Okay.
So again, really close.
Well, I've guessed GTA on every prominent GTA platform, and it never makes it. I feel like this was like a different kind of era for GTA, and we just had Skyrim. Um, but Rockstar also had Red Dead, and Red Dead was also a big deal. So I'm gonna say GTA 4 for this slot, and I expect it's wrong, but we're gonna try it anyway.
All right. At number 6, would you kindly choose Bioshock?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this deserves it. This deserves it.
There's always certain games. It was this and Tales of Vesperia that made me think, do I want a 360? Bioshock was just, it was one of those things where you saw the visuals is like, I gotta play that.
Yeah.
The city underwater to the big daddies, like, no, I gotta play that.
This was, I think, the first moment where I didn't quite realize that the game shifted from cutscene to gameplay. Because I remember when you
Mm.
crashing the plane on the water, I just stayed floating in that ocean for a good 10
Yeah.
seconds before realizing, like, oh, you can move now. Like, this is real time.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me. I was so fortunate that one of the guys in my college had a 360 and he let me borrow his 360 so I could play Bioshock because I was just so desperate to play this because it was exclusive. It came out as an exclusive at first. It eventually did get ported to the PS3, but there was no way for me to play it for the longest time. I think it was like 1 or 2 years before it came to another console.
Mm.
Um, and to just play through this game, that some of the best atmosphere in gaming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Rapture is still one of the best, the coolest locations in a game. And Big Daddies was so like enticing. I remember seeing that box art with the Big Daddy and Little Sister on. And I didn't know much about the game, but I just thought, like, whoa, what is this? Looking at the back cover and just seeing like this cool FPS. But I think this was before I played the Orange Box, so it's like my first
Mm.
kind of adventure-y, Half-Life-y kind of first-person adventure game, uh, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with whacking things with the wrench, using your electric powers, and then just smacking them to kill them. Then you got those hacking machines. You can get like a little drone that comes around and shoots for you. But then you've also just got this brilliant narrative surrounding it all, and the world building just makes it all come together in this wonderful way. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, this is just one of the greats. I went on to play System Shock 2 after Bioshock, and it's a
Oh,
lot more complicated than Bioshock, but you can tell where the vibes started there. There's a lot to love about System Shock 2. But Bioshock, I think, just made everything really accessible. And yeah, what can you say? It's one of the coolest franchises ever.
yeah. I've not gone back to play any of the System Shock games. I had friends that loved it, so I think that was their excitement for like, oh, a Bioshock, a successor to System Shock, that had their attentions. But and I looked at this and saw that again, saw Rapture, and I'm like, holy crap! And then you just get into like, I like how each section of the city almost has its own storyline.
Mm,
As you go through, you get more of like what happened to this city. How like it's such a natural story progression, and as many people have mentioned, that the ending is, either ending you get is not exactly great. There's not
yeah.
really a satisfying one either way. I did go for the one where you free all the little sisters.
Oh, yeah. Feels bad not to.
Yeah.
I
I don't think I need to kill little girls. I'm good.
I never really thought about this until now, but those little radio logs you can find, they're kind of the equivalent of scanning in Metroid Prime. They're just kind of giving you more story, just for looking around. Apart from this time, you get,
Yeah.
like characters just talking to you. So it's a cool evolution of that kind of thing.
Is
Um,
this the first game that probably have uh audio logs?
I can't think of it. There must be another one
There
before it,
has
but
to be
this is
others, but it felt like this was the first big game that everybody knew about, that
yeah.
audio logs were a thing that deliver that story.
Mm. I liked Bioshock 2 as well, but it felt in some ways a little bit like a direct to DVD sequel. This one was just so
Mm,
big and bombastic, and the second one, wow, good. It retrod a few things. I don't think it ever quite hit the heights, but
yeah.
Bioshock 2 is
I
great as well, and then Infinite's
I've not
just
actually
something else.
Yeah, I've not actually played, 2, but I've heard it's better gameplay, not as interesting story.
I think that's right, yeah. But yeah, they're both great though, and they're all available on current platforms too, and they're excellent there.
Yeah, for sure. So if you haven't played it, I did just just check it out. Like it is, um, God, it's going in blind, not knowing what's gonna happen next. Wonderful experience.
Yeah.
So that's our number 6 Xbox 360 game of all time. Let's say we get to our top 5, and at number 5, only beat BioShock by 3 points. The last little
Whoa.
votes that came in shifted the positions of these, because before BioShock was number 5. But there's a lot of like just a few more, like both got votes, but this other one got just a few more. So what is our number 5 game of all time, John?
So hard to predict. There's a lot of really good candidates.
Yeah, there is.
I'm gonna say Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4.
Mm.
Okay. Well, at number 5, earlier, you guessed a Sonic game.
Oh,
You chose the wrong Sonic game. At number
Generations?
5, Sonic Generations.
Oh, okay. I mean, the, Unleashed in its time wasn't well received. Generations
Mhm.
always was, and Generations has always been good. It's just one of the most well-rounded Sonic games ever. I adore it. There's
Yeah.
I don't think the classic sections are quite as great as I remember, but those modern ones are still peak modern Sonic.
Oh,
Um,
agreed.
yeah.
I haven't gone back and replayed it thanks to Sonic Generations Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. It still holds up incredibly well. It's a lot of fun. You're right about the 2D sections not being as good, but there's still some amazing set pieces throughout each of these games, and it made me fall in love with the boost gameplay.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's why I was like, when I saw Sonic Forces returning this boost gameplay, I'm like, hell yeah! And then it came out, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It's like Unleashed had a really good idea. The boost stages in Unleashed are great. There's just so much in between that it can be a bit of a drag to actually, get to the good bits. Whereas
Mhm.
Generations is pretty much nothing but the good bits. And then you've got, your favorite levels like City Escape, which are just reimagined with the most bombastic ways. Like the truck that chases you now has saw blades and it now drives on the wall with rockets attached to it. They went crazy with this one. I think you can probably fault it for having a few too many like first levels in there, like Seaside Hill,
Yeah.
City Escape, Green Hill. But that it doesn't matter that much though, because each one still feels really distinct. And when you rank all the Sonic games ever, this one stands pretty high at the top. 'Cause it's
Mhm.
just so well rounded.
Yeah. For the longest time, it was my favorite 3D Sonic. I mean, still kind of is, but as far as that goes, but I almost platinumed it because I did play this one PS3. Uh Screw that final boss.
Oh god,
I could never get the deathless run or
that
the
looks like
hitless
a
run.
homing shot.
Oh my god, it's just such a nightmare to do.
Yeah.
Um But everything else, like, I loved doing I didn't mind doing all of the side stuff. A lot of people, like, kind of get bummed by all the, like, the mini game stuff. Not the mini game, but the, like, the side content to
Yeah, like, you have,
unlock
like
the
before
thing.
you can go to the next level to get the Chaos Emerald, you have to do, like, 3 missions from each one.
Challenges and
Yeah.
yeah, whatnot, and, I didn't mind that because, hey, I unlocked songs and artwork, and my god, did I want all the songs in this game because then I could just attach them to various levels, make those levels really fun to replay, and hey, you got different music as you're racing through these levels, trying to get your better time, trying to find all the red rings to get even more songs, and, having that, it felt like the first time I actually cared about a scoring system as far
Oh,
as,
yeah.
like, caring about where you ranked because you just want to get those better times.
And they're so replayable. You can just
Mhm.
replay your favorite stages over and over again. And because you play on PlayStation 3, you probably didn't take advantage of this, but this is one of the few games that had stereoscopic 3D.
No, I did not take
But
advantage of
there
that.
were a few games that did. It was like Uncharted 3, Sonic Generations. I think it's like Killzone 3. And I did play on PS3 in 3D. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool
Oh,
effect. Didn't run
nice.
particularly great, but it looked cool. But yeah, this was just such a bright, colorful, fun, fast game, and it's still it's still something that Sonic fans play repeatedly.
Mhm. Yeah, this is absolutely one of the favorites. A lot of people wish it would like wish it would have gone a step beyond, got DLC or something like that, which we kind of got with Shadow, but
Yeah,
I'd
yeah, like
also
a
claim
decade
that
later.
boy, I gotta say, after playing the Shadow Generations portion directly after the Sonic Generations portion, it makes Sonic Generations seem archaic
Mm, yeah,
with what you can do in Shadow. So still, I don't that should not take away from just the sheer quality of Generations though. So I know we have our, people that are tired of Sonic popping up in these top 10 lists, but I feel like this one is pretty deserved at
this one
least.
deserves it. All Stars Racing Transformed also deserves it, but I have a feeling that might wait until PC or multi-platform. But that's
Mhm.
also one of the best.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, that is our number 5 360 game of all time. Let's go ahead and move on to number 4, which beat out Sonic by about 75 points.
Hmm. So I've shouted out a few. I don't want to repeat myself, so I'm just going to keep shouting new games. I said GTA 4 earlier. This time I'm going to go for Red Dead. 'Cause Red Dead was also a big deal. I feel like Red Dead 2 exploded. So
Mhm.
maybe.
All right. I know I personally love Red Dead. But at number 4, it is not Red Dead. At number 4, instead, another game that got a lot of people talking and discussing and just beloved, Mass Effect 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. This was the first one I started with. I didn't start on
Oh,
Mass
really?
Effect 1, so I played it in I went 2, 1, 3, which is not the order to play, but but 2's great though. 2 it feels like a lot more actiony than the first one in a few
Very much
ways.
so, yeah.
Yeah. But, some of the coolest world building. Probably BioWare's best game in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it just it's kind of felt like the full package because I
Yeah.
actually made a point because so many people were talking about how great Mass Effect 2 was, and I knew the choices carried over.
Mm,
So I actually played Mass Effect 1 on PC,
mm.
and then when I played on but I was still very much a console guy, so I played Mass Effect 2 on PS3, but you had the option to choose, like, the important stuff. So I just remembered what I chose for each of those
Oh,
moments, and then it
sure.
carried over that sort of save file. So I was like, "Okay, I got the important moments. That's the important thing, and I know the plot line." And yeah, you just get sucked into these characters, this world, and all the little side things you can do. The I like that the side quests decide the ending, really. I don't want to go beyond that, but it encourages you to do as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah, and it's huge. There's so much in it. Um, did you do you are you a male shepherd or a female shepherd?
I was a male shepherd. I
Mm.
typically, if there's a romance option, I'll keep male. If I don't have, there's no romance option, I'll occasionally play a female choice just because they got the. I like seeing the variety.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is one that I didn't put on my list. I forgot it for some reason, but I played a lot of Mass Effect back then. This was another one where, like, a lot of friends played it too, so I was just sort of hearing their stories around it. Um, and yeah, people definitely gravitated to a lot of the different characters in here. Uh, yeah, what a cool series, and it kind of dropped off after. I think all we've had is Andromeda after 3,
Yeah,
and that's it.
Andromeda kind of well, the ending of Mass Effect 3 definitely people did not like.
Oh, because there's
And
like
then
DLC endings, yeah.
yeah, the DLC ending. I never played Mass Effect 3, to be honest.
Mm.
I never went to it. And then I just heard nothing good about Andromeda. So unfortunately, it kind of fell by the wayside a bit there, which is a bit of a shame because it's had such a strong start because it really was sold as the successor to Knights of the Old Republic
Yeah, sure, yeah. And this was
with
another
everything.
series that was very 360 coded as well.
Mhm.
I think the first Mass Effect was exclusive. I can't remember if 2 was.
Mass Effect 1 was exclusive, 2 was not.
Mm.
I,
But it had
I
that
think that's
base.
why I played it on PC. Is because
Mm.
well, it's PC 360 that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it sticks in people's minds. I still see people talk about their loves of this game, like the characters they chose and hooked up with, and uh, weirdly controversial at the time because certain news programs, at least in the states, got a hold of the fact that oh my god, they're having sex,
Oh,
so
yeah.
depraved.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay when movies do it, but video games? No, no,
Those
no,
are
no,
for
no.
children.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. But yeah, I what can you really say? It is amazing. I has it been ported to like this is one of those that never got ported to the Switch, is it? Isn't it?
Yeah, no, Switch never had Mass Effect. Wii U had Mass Effect 3. Um,
Oh no.
that's all Nintendo's ever had. Yeah. It
It
is
feels
funny
like a
though,
missed opportunity. Yeah.
yeah. You're talking about how, like, news programs ran with all that stuff, and that Baldur's Gate 3 now, it just gets away with it. So I think Mass Effect kinda ran so, you know, Baldur's Gate could run with all that stuff.
Yeah, very much so. So very cool stuff. Great choice. But let's say we get to our top three. And John, what is our number three Xbox 360 game of all time, beating out Mass Effect 2 by 8 points?
Okay. I'm gonna put Dark Souls here.
Okay. Going with Dark Souls.
Mm.
Excellent choice. Definitely started blowing up around this time. People definitely talk about Dark Souls. However, it is not Dark Souls. Instead, we got to start thinking with portals again, John, because it's Portal 2.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Portal 2, just it took, the base of the original game, which you could finish in an hour, if you knew what you're doing. But Portal 2, it's a full-on, like, Half-Life 2 kinda length game. You got Stephen Merchant as Wheatley, he's amazing, and it just feels
So
like
much dialogue.
there's so much dialogue. Yeah, there's a really elaborate story here. The original was just as simple as escaping, average science, whereas this one, you're teaming up with GLaDOS, you're changing who the villain is, you're just going through this factory, finding the history of aperture science, finding the Borealis from Half-Life. There's so much packed into Portal 2. And with the first Portal, you feel like they kind of explored everything they could have with the portal mechanic. But then they go like, no, there's so much more you can do. And you start
Mm.
mixing elements with portals, like the goo, the bouncy goo, the speed goo. Yeah, Portal 2 just it but you felt like it was done, but it's like, no, we got so much more packed in here.
Yeah, it feels like such a shame because by the end of this game, the story is done ostensibly. Like
Yeah.
you need to have a new protagonist if you're going to do anything else. But it's still you want more because it's so much fun. And I remember at the time when it first released, a lot of people were down on this. They actually preferred the original because they thought the goo mechanics took away from the portal mechanics. Like it's they ran out of ideas for the portal guns. They got to come up with this stuff. But having recently replayed it, no, I think it just naturally melds in there, and it emphasizes physics once again. And I don't
Yeah.
think I think people are too worried about the placement of those things rather than what they did in relation to the portals and using the physics to reach new places. And I love how so much of this game is organic, like to figure out like rather than just like, all right, here's your test room. It's like,
Yeah.
no, here's this wide open world. How do you get from this place to this place using portals?
Right. Yeah, and a lot of the time too, like the test chambers, there's a point where you're making your way through the test chambers while Wheatley's doing stuff in the background. So it's like you're trying to make your way and please GLaDOS, keep her off your trail while Wheatley's doing other stuff. So it contextualizes why you're doing these test chambers, which is great. I like Portal 1 in like a gameplay first way. Like you're not really held
Mhm.
down by story. And Portal 2 I've got to be in the mood for because you are sitting through the story again. But once you're in that mood, though, you get one of the coolest single player games ever. And that's not even to mention the multiplayer. There's
Yeah.
full on two-player co-op, and it's like there's a lot of different stages. There's like another game packed in there, really. And if you're playing on PC, there's also a level editor, so you can make your own test chambers too. They packed so much into Portal 2.
It's an incredible package. Like I have distinct memories of um playing through the co-op with a friend and just figuring out each one, getting through it all, and you get the extra commentary by Gladys where it's a bit more akin to the original game
Mm.
in that way, with the co-op story. And honestly, there's some really tricky puzzles. There was something we were stuck on for a while trying to figure out exactly what we needed to do.
Oh yeah.
Um it just it really did like what the heck? Oh, okay, try you really you're using your head as much as possible just trying to figure this out, and when you finally do, it feels good. It is one of those really satisfying games, and our chat has been just filled with quotes, and I think the other big thing about Portal 2 that maybe makes it stick in people's mind. With Portal 1, the entire joke was the cake is a lie.
Yeah.
That's where it started, it ended, it felt like, and maybe the Still Alive song, probably, and the Still Alive song, and
Mm.
the companion cube. I guess you get
Sure. Yeah.
get those three elements, but there's so many quotes in Portal 2. It is probably one of the funniest games ever made.
It probably is the funniest game ever made. Like it's such good clever writing. There's one part where Wheatley is unlocking a door, and he says like, "I can't do it when you're watching," and so you just have to physically turn around. And then he's done after that. There's so much good stuff like that. Yeah, it's packed. And yeah, a lot of audience have been saying that there's the companion collection on Switch, which is
Mhm.
also excellent. It's really cheap. You get both games, and Portal 2 runs amazingly with the co-op intact as well. Yeah. There's no bad platform to play this on. PS3
Mhm.
has the Move controls if you want to play with PS Move, and also the motion DLC, which is exclusive to PS3. And Steam's got the level editor, 360. It just runs great there. It's backwards
Mhm.
compatible as well on Xbox Series X. Yeah, there's no bad way to play Portal 2.
Yeah, and on PS3, it even incled a free code for the Steam version of
That's
Portal
right. It
2.
had Steam support. You could
And
play
it was
cross-platform with that.
crossplay between PS3 and PC, which is weird to
Yeah.
think about because you associate Microsoft so much more with PC
So
stuff.
was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Not anymore because the updates outpaced the PC version or PS3
Mm,
version even. But it used to be. You used to be able to play cross-platform with PC and PS3.
yeah, so it's just fun all around. Like it. Now this makes sense. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll be shocked if it doesn't show up again on when we get to our top PC games of
Oh,
2000s list.
absolutely. Absolutely will. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost undoubtedly.
Mm.
this was this is sort of peak Valve era. Let's be
Oh, yeah.
honest.
100%.
But yeah, that is our number 3 Xbox 360 game of all time. It's time to move on to number 2, which beat out Portal 2 by 420 points.
Okay. I guessed pretty early on Street Fighter 4. And I think that was a fighting game revelation. It brought everything back. It
Yeah.
felt big and cool. But nowadays, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has stood the test of time, and that's still the one that people play. So maybe Marvel at number 2.
Maybe Marvel. Okay. Interesting choice. At number 2, Halo Reach.
Halo Reach. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't think about that one because Halo Reach is my favorite of the Halo games on 360. I
Is that from a
really
story perspective or a multiplayer perspective?
I story.
Mm,
I didn't really play much of the multiplayer of Reach. But to the story of it, playing co-op with a friend, the seeing the fall of Reach and the storyline and how it built into the original Halo, it felt like the perfect capper to the Bungie's era.
Yeah, yeah, I like Reach a lot too. Um, I feel like the multiplayer doesn't have the longevity that 3 had, but the
Mhm.
story is like one of Halo's peaks. All the Spartans felt really cool in this game, and it felt nice playing as someone who wasn't Master Chief, like playing as just unproven rookie. Um, and everyone just feels really well characterized. The Covenant have gone back to their sort of alien language too, so they feel imposing again, which is right because they win this war, so it's good for them to feel strong.
Mhm.
And the visuals too were crazy.
Oh yeah.
It felt like but both this and Halo 4 as well felt like they were pushing the 360 way beyond its era. And yeah, I think this is one of the best single player Halos. But I think as a Halo fan, where this kind of falls a bit down for me is that multiplayer. 'Cause I didn't like the Spartan abilities. I didn't like
Mm.
sprint and the armor lock. We've just got to like wait for them to be vulnerable again. I didn't love that stuff, but yeah, the multiplayer was fantastic. The single player was fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if I really went into the competitive multiplayer of Halo after Halo 2. Um, with Halo 3 and beyond, I just did co-op with a friend because I think by that point I'd fallen off. It wasn't as common. Like I had certain friends that still played it, but it wasn't the let's all gather around for like LAN parties and whatnot. And since I didn't own a 360, I wasn't going online to play. So if I went with a friend over to a friend's place, we did co-op rather than competitive.
Mm.
So that's just how my situation for how that ended up. But yeah, as somebody who appreciates stories and all that stuff, playing through Reach, um, I'm actually really impressed with how well they characterized what is it, 5 or 6 characters in armor and made them
Yeah,
feel distinct. Never
yeah.
seeing their faces.
Right. Yeah, they all felt really human, which Master Chief never really does, and I think that's fine. He's fine just
Mm,
being a masked badass, but it felt good, getting to know everybody, who are like the ending of them, so it just makes it all the more tragic getting to know who they are. I see live audience talking about Firefight as well, which yeah, ODST did Firefight first, but I think this one kind of just cemented it because a few people glazed over ODST, which is also incredible, one of the
yeah,
best single players. But this is where I think Firefight really became like a standard, and it was yeah, this was the best multiplayer mode in the game for sure.
I always heard middling things about ODST before I actually played it with a friend. Again, I went through every Halo with in co-op with a friend, and
Mm.
so I just had a great time through there. And uh, we were shocked how much we enjoyed ODST.
Yeah,
Uh,
ODST is fantastic. I think maybe at the time people were down on it because it was just a single player game. Like you just get Halo 3's disc for the multiplayer.
mhm.
Um, but I thought it was fine. And
Yeah,
it's
it's a
yeah,
good time. Good cast in there. What it takes place between 2 and 3, right? Or
that's
around
right. You're in
3?
New Mombasa, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And
Mm.
um I miss doing co-op multiplayer co-op with my friends in Halo, but we did Halo 4 and we were kind of like and then Halo 5 was it's like online only, so we're like okay, I think we're done.
Mm. Yeah. Halo 4, I remember my friends and I loved Halo so much. Like, we played 3 and Reach all the time and ODST. And we all gathered around to play Halo 4 and we weren't feeling it. We were just playing the multiplayer. Like this just doesn't feel right. We didn't love being able to sprint all the time. We didn't love a lot of this stuff. Uh
Mhm.
and yeah, you can tell just from the first match like this wasn't going to be replicating the glory days.
Not quite, but man, I do recommend it Reach as a single player store like game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you shouldn't miss out on Reach.
yeah, go back and play it. It is if you like those type of endings where you like we talked about Crisis Core last
Yeah.
week. Same vibes.
Exact same vibes, yeah. Yeah, lots of really
So,
cool payoffs to the original as well. Like, you can see Master Chief in his cryo chamber right at the
mhm.
end if you look all the way around. It's cool seeing that. You give Cortana away and you meet Dr. Halsey for the first time and you get to like see some mannerisms of Cortana in there. Yeah, lots of great payoffs.
Yeah, highly recommended. So, yeah, that's our number 2 360 game of all time. Very interesting hearing your perspective because I was like, I saw Reach and here Reach this point. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. And then hearing you be like shocked by it. I was
But yeah,
very
I guess
curious.
I mean, you can't really make a list like this when user voting, but I was assuming like one per franchise for some reason, and Halo 3 was what
Oh,
I was thinking. But of course, people are going to vote for both of them. 'Cause people like both equally, or
mhm.
clearly not equally, because I think this is number one.
Yeah, one did a little bit better.
Yeah,
So let's talk about number one and see what our number one Xbox 360 game of all time was, beating out Reach by 950 points. Like it wasn't even close.
yeah. I
John,
didn't
just
expect
it.
anything but Halo 3.
Yeah,
This
it's Halo
this
3.
is the best 360 game. It is not negotiable. It's it was an event, like live audience is
Yeah.
saying. This was on news reports. And I played Halo at friends' houses before this, but this was the first one that I properly owned myself, and, I loved every single thing about this game. The single player was great
Mhm.
when I played it the first time. Then I played it co-op, which was a totally new experience, online co-op, looking for the skulls, going back and just looking through every single level. Then you do multiplayer, and it's like this is endless. This is something you play the entire generation. You get a theater mode. You can go back through your
Mhm.
matches with a free camera, look over everything, make machinima if you want to. There's
Was this
different
the origin of
modes.
Forge mode?
Forge mode, yep, make your own
Yes.
levels, go back in, just
Forge was
change the geometry.
huge.
Yeah, people made their own game modes. There was what's the zombie one called? I forget
Oh,
the name of it, but you can go and play a zombie mode where some of you, have pistols and the other ones have energy swords, and you've got to try and take them out before they get to you. Um, and you just got this brilliant mix of weapons, the best in the series, I'd say, some of the best maps in the series. Halo 3 is still, I think, my favorite shooter, my multiplayer shooter at least, ever.
it's been a long time since I played it. I need to go back to it because a lot of it of its single player is a bit foggy to me,
Mm.
other than the final escape sequence.
Oh,
That
yeah.
stands out because
The
that's like,
music
oh, that's
kicking in is so
just
strong in that segment.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, that's just cool.
yeah. It was also a
Uh,
very colorful game. Halo 2 was a bit
yeah,
drab, very gray game. This one, though, the first level, you're in that forest, and it's so green and vibrant. You get,
yeah.
like, bloom, god
I'm
rays coming
feeling
from
that
the
now.
sky. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a heck of a wait. It was a long wait for this one because how many years was it between Halo 2 and 3? Because it was quite the
I
development
think
time.
2 was, like, 2004, and then 3 was 2007, I think. So
Yeah.
but it was a console difference, though, so if you're going between generations, which made it feel even bigger and longer.
Hmm. Yeah, 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, and as Chad has mentioned, just a marketing blitz. It was
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. I think this is where you get the association with Doritos and Mountain Dew because that's where you saw
Yeah.
this all the time. I think probably even Halo 2 as well. Um, and then just perfect built-in tagline after the end of the last game with "Finish the fight."
Yeah.
Like the just and you'd have all these news reports about people being blown away. Like this is the box officeification of video games, I'd say, because this is when they started taking notice, like, oh, this just made more money than most movies.
Yeah. Like, there have been far bigger games since Halo 3, but this was where it felt like, "Oh, people understand now that games can be bigger than films." And
Mhm.
you're right, the marketing was incredible. Like, we had, like, Believe, we had all those great live action ads, that one where the kids are on the field looking up at the sky. It's yeah. I I love this game so much. Like, there wasn't a single other game that came close to a number 1 consideration. It's just it's my favorite Halo, it's my favorite, Xbox game, and, the thought of this going multi-platform someday is really exciting because it probably will. We've got Forza and Gears already. Halo's gonna come,
The
and the thought of getting, like, a group of 6 friends together with their Switch 2s and just playing local wireless Halo, that's just a goddamn dream.
Master Chief Collection includes this, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. You know what? I definitely would pick up the Master Chief Collection if it came to Switch too,
Yeah.
in
I
a
think everyone
heartbeat.
should. You're if you don't, then you're crazy. It's
Just to
it should.
replay through all of them, because there is decent lore in all of them and seeing
Yeah,
what
for
you
sure.
can get, and it's a pretty consistent story. Um, so yeah, good stuff. Did you ever do a run through with your friends on the hardest difficulty? I forget what it's called, but
Legendary. Yeah, 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 I did.
legendary.
I
Like
got I
that
got
was
every achievement in Halo 3 apart from one really simple one. It was on
really
one of the DLC maps, and it was just, I think it was get a killing spree in a ghost on, I think, like, one of the mythic maps or something, and I didn't get that one. So I've got, like, it's the gamer score goes above 1,000 because it has DLC in there. But yeah, there's one little simple achievement I don't have in Halo 3. I never
It'll
will
forever
because
haunt
that
you.
version's online servers are gone now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're never gonna get it.
Yeah, never gonna happen. I could try and get it in MCC, but it wouldn't be the same.
No, no. You'll always know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is our top 10. So curious what you think about that, John, after considering what we know about the 360 and what else did not make it, obviously. Do you
It's a
think it
good
was
list. I think there's big games missing, GTA again, Red Dead again, but Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter 4, maybe it's a bit lost today, but Street Fighter 4 was such a big deal.
yeah,
Yeah,
it revived the fighting game genre. Like
yeah,
it was still there, but it made it huge again, I guess is the best way to put it.
and it was fantastic as well. Street Fighter 4 is still one of my favorite ones. Huge roster, especially when you get to Ultra, like, you've got
Oh yeah.
one of the biggest fighting game rosters we've ever had. Uh, and yeah, I think that did deserve a place, but hopefully it's not too far to get to Street Fighter 4.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and as per usual have some fun looking at what the top 50 games were voted on were for the console. Um and I mentioned how so what game do you think was at number 10 before Orange Box kicked it out, John?
Maybe Street Fighter.
It was not Street Fighter. Unfortunately, I'll say this now. Street Fighter is a bit farther down than I would have liked. I feel like
Oh,
it
that's a
deserved to
shame.
be a bit farther up, but
Mm.
yeah. Instead, at number 11, Red Dead Redemption,
Oh,
which I'm like watching my children fight here because I love Red Dead Redemption. It's the only Rockstar game I've ever actually beaten. I've never played
uh,
Red Dead Redemption 2. But Red Dead Redemption 1, God, just the entire game was so much fun. The world was so fun to explore. The ending is amazing.
yeah. It's beautiful. It's a very beautiful game. When Red Dead 2 inevitably comes to Switch 2, I hope you pick it up there. I want to
I
replay that on Switch 2.
I
Yeah.
think I was like turned off by the idea that it was made like things were made almost too realistic.
Mm,
Where it's like, you gotta you do this, you cock your gun in this way and do this thing, and it's like, it seemed like to go too far into realism. It was like, I like the simplicity of Red Dead Redemption 1. I think that's why I kind of stayed away
sure.
because it felt like they were wasting time. It's like, why do we need the horse testicles animated?
Yeah.
I so I guess that was my concern, but I have heard the story is excellent. And
It is, yeah, and this was a continuation of Rockstar just being crazy 'cause, on
yeah,
PS2, they did, like, GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Bully, and then 360, like, GTA 4, GTA 4's DLC, Red Dead, they never stopped, and then they
and
took a
GTA
huge
5.
break. Yeah,
Yeah.
GTA 5. Then after GTA 5, it's like 12 years, 13 years,
Yeah,
nothing.
then it's just GTA Online.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, but yeah, missed out by 48 points. It was that
Mm,
close.
damn.
At number 12, just a 100-point drop just to give us a sense. Like nothing else is really getting close to this, but at number 12, Sonic Unleashed.
Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling this would be pretty high. It's turned
Mhm.
around. So it's probably what the biggest consensus turnaround in video games because this was very poorly regarded when it came out, but now it feels like everyone loves it.
Yeah, I think it also like that reevaluation is like, my gosh, the Sonic graphics still are struggling to match this game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's even today. It's like even after Shadow Generations, it's still artistically one of the best looking Sonic games. And when you're zooming around at top speed, when you're not taking in like the smaller details, it still looks gorgeous.
Mhm. Absolutely. At number 13, only 20 points behind Sonic, Gears of War 2. I saw a lot of people wondering where Gears of War was, and I would have thought it would have made the top 10 because Gears was huge.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's much I would have shifted out of the top 10 in favor of Gears. And I'm kind of happy the Orange Box made it as well. I wouldn't have liked to see that shifted off, but Red Dead and
Yeah.
Gears were undoubtedly huge contenders for the top 10.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know exactly how I'd shift around this list. It's tough to say. I guess ostensibly, you could say that you might wish Gears of War made it instead of something else because, I have a feeling we're probably gonna end up doing another multi-platform list
Yeah.
once all these are
And,
through.
Gears was like a really cool evolution of Resident Evil 4 as well, because like, you can move and shoot for the
Yeah.
first time, you can take cover. If it weren't for Gears, we wouldn't have Uncharted. Uncharted took so much from Gears.
Oh, it really did, and it kept you active as well with the reload mechanic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, timing a reload, that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, at number 14, Minecraft Xbox 360 edition.
Yeah, we were talking about this a bit earlier. Yeah, this is where Minecraft started. It was PC
Yeah.
and 360 to begin with, and this was the start of the revolution. Kids were buying 360s for Minecraft. It wasn't much of a kid system before that, but then they bought it in waves because this is the easiest place to play it.
Yeah, and God, it's amazing how much that game's grown. I had a friend that that's probably get talked about more when we get to the PC list.
Mm.
Um, uh, I had a friend who was in like the beta version of Minecraft and talking about
Oh,
like, oh yeah,
sure.
there's like, oh yeah, this game called Minecraft. It's really fun and addictive. Like you can just look at this stuff I've built. And I went into build mode. I was like, oh, that's neat. Not my thing, but hey, glad you're enjoying it, man.
Yeah, it's never really my thing either. But it was cool seeing it grow. But always as like an onlooker rather than a proper player.
Very much so, yeah. At number 15, Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah, yeah, this was a great one. Very cool one,
Mhm.
and, it was one of those few games that made Xbox seem like a really promising place for Japanese games.
Yeah. Again, one of the two games that really made me wish I kind of had a 360.
Yeah.
Um, so uh shame. I know a lot of people were hoping for it to get higher. We still have we're struggling to get a Tales game into the top 10, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's gonna be a chance for
After
it.
this, I don't
Yeah.
know if there's going to be any more chances, let's be honest.
Mm,
At 16, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
makes sense, makes sense.
Tales of Vesperia beat it out by 1 point.
Oh. And
Yeah.
Oblivion was iconic as well. It wasn't quite as mainstream as Skyrim was, but, it's a comedic game, it's such a funny game for the wrong
Mm.
reasons.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the glitches and stuff. I honestly saw most of Oblivion through Peanut Butter Gamer and his like little
Oh,
quest that
nice.
he would do with his on his channel. Um, but number 17, Dark Souls.
I wish this was a lot higher, but maybe 360 wasn't the synonymous platform.
Maybe not. I don't
I played
know.
this on PS3 because I came off with Demon Souls as well, so I kind of associated it there. So maybe
Yeah,
PS3 would get Dark Souls.
I wonder if it is more associated with PS3, but it's also there's a bit strong of a first party lineup to compete with PS3.
Yeah,
So
but this is one of the
mm,
greatest games ever.
yeah,
So I hope it gets another chance.
I hope so. I feel like it will. Maybe. Hopefully. I guess we'll find out. At number 18, Fable 2.
Mm, this is the first Fable I played. Really, really liked it.
Mm.
Um,
This
and
seemed to fulfill the promise of Fable from what I could tell.
Totally, totally. Fable 3 didn't quite reach those heights either, but Fable 2, yeah, peak game of the series.
Yeah. Number 19, Gears of War, the original.
Mm, yeah, nice.
And all I can say is I should probably toss this on the list of a game that made me kind of want a 360 because um, I was a sucker for that commercial,
Oh,
the
sure, the, Mad World
uh,
one.
Mad World. Yeah.
Mm,
I
yeah,
saw that. I was like, what the hell is this?
yeah,
Just like, okay. Um, Definitely brought that song back.
yeah.
Also
That's the
didn't
thing
hurt
about
that.
Gears, like, it seems like very dude Brody, but then there's, some really emotional moments in there.
Yeah, it's not as dude bro as you'd think,
Yeah.
as it really seems to be. But yeah, it's funny how that song was like part of my college because that was also when I had a bunch of friends that were really into Donnie Darko.
Oh, sure.
Oh god, goodness. All right, number 20, Fallout New Vegas.
Uh, this is another interesting one because Fallout 3 was huge,
Mhm.
but New Vegas was always like the fan favorite one. But it felt like a niche though. But I looked at sales recently, and New Vegas sold really well too. It's like there's like a 2 million difference. I think Fallout 3 is like 13 million, and New Vegas is 11 million. But it always felt like such a small gap between, such a big gap between them. But in
Yeah.
reality, New Vegas did great too.
Oh yeah. A lot of people recognize New Vegas just sort of does it better.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more nuanced in there. And Obsidian already shown that they could follow up a pretty good game with Knights of the Old Republic too, can't talk. And then we got them with New Vegas. So
Yeah.
cool stuff. Unique too with how it starts, because you don't start in a vault.
Right,
So
exactly.
at number 21, Bayonetta.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I wasn't expecting this near the top 10, but this was the place to play it, and I think, like, after Devil May Cry 4, which I thought was pretty good, but not quite Devil May Cry 3 standards, it felt
Mhm.
like, okay, maybe this could be the successor to Devil May Cry, and ultimately it was for a long time.
Yeah,
But Bayonetta 2 was even better than this, and then Devil May Cry was absent for, what, like 10 years?
so long. But
Yeah.
then it came roaring back with 5, and I put 5 as the top of my character action.
Mm,
Like that'll probably be at the top of my PS4 list. That like
nice.
in my top 10. I just love that game.
Yeah.
Number 22, the original Mass Effect.
Mhm. Yeah, not a whole lot to
So
say about this one compared to 2. I felt like this one's a little bit more, it's
it's more
slower, not as
RPG.
actiony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Number 23, Grand Theft Auto 5.
nice, okay.
So just to give a breakdown of the range here, Orange Box again at 688 points, GTA 5 430 points. So
It's quite a big gap.
a decent amount of gap, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of games pretty close to each other as we go along. So it was within spitting distance, but not quite enough.
Mm.
Um, at number 24, Batman Arkham Asylum, which
I don't know if the gap between Asylum and City is that big.
fair. 25, Grand Theft Auto 4.
I've actually been playing this in my evenings lately,
Oh,
um,
really?
and it's interesting how detailed it is. I didn't realize that cars indicate what way they're turning. So, like, I was just
Oh,
walking along, and I saw a car was doing its turn signal to the left, and it turned left, and another car was doing to the right and turned right. I thought, "Huh, do other games do that?" And I booted up 5, and it doesn't do it in 5.
really?
And 4's got, like, this really cool physics system that 5 doesn't have. Like, 4 does a lot of stuff that 5 can't do, like some very physics-based stuff, which is quite cool.
Mhm. I borrowed it from a friend, tried it out for a while. Same thing happened to me with other GTAs where just like, okay, I'm done. It just didn't carry me. And then, boy, I hate Roman.
Yeah, Roman's not great, but Nico's a brilliant character.
Nico's a great character.
Nico's the
Roman
best
just
GTA
ruins it.
protagonist.
Yeah, Nico's a lot of fun. And unfortunately, everybody praises the bank heist
Mm,
a part of that game. I've never reached that far.
it is very good, yeah. 4 is a bit of a slow burn. It starts off it takes a while for you to get a gun in that game, but eventually,
Oh
I think
yeah.
you get some of the coolest story that GTA's had.
Hmm. Honestly, it was really weird to me because Nico felt like he shouldn't be doing all this stuff. Like he's capable of it, but he's like seems like too good of a man
He
for
says no to
GTA.
drugs in, like, every scene, which I didn't pick
Yeah.
up on as a kid, but there's always guys, like, doing drugs in the corner, and Nico's like, "No, thanks." He stays sober. Yeah, he's got there's some cool depth to Nico, though.
Mhm. So, I just remembered how much they screwed over his actor, though.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, 26, Gears of War 3.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't hear about this one as much. I think
It's also good, but I think
Mhm.
2 is the peak.
Yeah. 27, Fallout 3.
Uh-huh.
Again, huge at the time. Just you went from Skyrim to Fallout, and while OG Fallout fans were not a fan of this game, most people were like, "Yeah, this is my jam."
Yeah, 'cause it was pretty much, Elder Scrolls with a gun now, but
Mhm.
in a very different setting though, which made it feel like more than just that. But yeah, not very much resembling Fallout 1 and 2.
Not at all. Um, Number 28, Halo 3 ODST.
I think this is also one of the best Halos, but, it's understandable why 3 and Reach would top this, because
Mhm.
it's more of an expansion of 3 than a
Yeah,
brand new
ODST is
game.
only like what, 6 hours?
Yeah, yeah, and, it was worth it at the time, though. You got the DLC on the multiplayer disc as well, so there was some value in there.
Yeah, true. Number 29, Assassin's Creed 2.
You can't understate how big this was,
Oh,
right?
it was huge.
The first Assassin's Creed was big, but like the second one just refined everything about the
It
series.
was so much better.
Yeah,
Having played the original Assassin's Creed and then going to 2, it is amazing just how much more interesting, how much better integrated everything is. Assassin's Creed 1 was barren and repetitious.
yeah. I eventually dropped off Assassin's Creed, but it's mostly because it never felt like it topped 2 again. Black Flag was really
Mm,
good, but it kept going and going and going. It's like this is just kind of the same thing in a different place each time. Whereas 2 just felt revolutionary. It was hard not to get attached and sucked into it.
yeah, very much so. Uh, Number 30, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And yeah, Call of Duty was so huge in this era.
Mm,
I played a lot of COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 as well. COD 4 is one that I tended to prefer, but Modern Warfare 2 I think is where it really it didn't just blow up. It kind of it was just something that everyone had at that point.
just became a thing just because of its multiplayer. And
Yeah,
I never really played much of the multiplayer itself, but I did play through the storyline of Modern Warfare 2 with a friend where we passed the controller back and forth, played a little bit online, and we had fun.
yeah,
But it never hooked me enough to be like, I got to get all this these series. It's like that's a fun time.
yeah.
Um, at 31, Blue Dragon.
I played this when Series X came out. I sometimes had to mute the boss theme because it's such like cheesy butt rock, and it's good the first
Mm.
time, but it just keeps going. It's like okay, I kind of have to turn this down a little bit.
I've heard that this is a game that's good, but kind of just okay.
Yeah, it's not Lost Odyssey tier, but it's worth playing though.
Mhm. Trying to capture that Dragon Quest magic.
Mm.
It really seems like. At 32, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3.
I really thought this would be higher. I don't know what platform this is associated with these days though.
I don't know. I almost want to say PC just because of the modding scene for that one, but I
Mm.
don't know if it was more associated with the PS3 or 360. Honestly, it seems like such an even keel. So just because of that, may not appear on either, but maybe
Yeah,
it'll do well in multi-platform if we get to that point. I don't know.
maybe. Yeah.
I know I loved it. So either way, number 33, Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Okay. I wonder how many Call of Duties there are going to be.
All of them got votes, but they did not all make the top 50.
Mm.
Number 34, Viva Pinata.
Huh. I wish I really got into this game because I played it, but it never quite jived with me. But I know a lot of people that swear by Viva Pinata.
Mhm. It's a lifesim game. I always bounce from those, unfortunately. Just never been able to interest me that much. Um, 35, Street Fighter 4, and this includes, of course, the original, Super,
Yeah.
Arcade Edition, and Ultra.
I mean, we've talked about this. I think it deserves way more. It's one of the most
Mhm,
important fighting games ever, and it's
for
it's
sure.
one of the most robust ones too. Just so full of characters, and playing this online back in the day, like you always had someone to play with. It was huge.
It was crazy to have decent online too,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to do these fights. I mean, I remember rented the original Street Fighter because I was unsure, and I was like, they'll probably have an updated version.
Mm.
And sure enough, they put out the Super. It was like, okay, I'll buy this version. And hey, it's even cheaper, so that works out. Also helps that that's when Jury was introduced, and she
Yeah.
became one of my mains. And I was like, okay, Jury's cool.
Super and Ultra, of course, they are the bigger games, but the Vanilla's opening theme, I
Oh, I was
you
so
hear
mad they
that
never brought that back. It was
you
so
hear those
good.
first 2 notes and, like, you know exactly what's coming, like, it's so iconic.
Hmm. 36. Another one I thought would be a little higher. Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah, 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 this should have been higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still great today as well. The sequels always missed what made this one so cool, I feel. That time limit, that
Mm,
pressure was a big part of the game, and taking that away, I feel like makes Dead Rising feel a bit flatter. But,
yeah.
it felt like a next generation game though, just going through that mall and
Oh,
having
seeing all those zombies.
just
Another one
hundreds
I
of
see in
them.
college and be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
But then also not understanding it because I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing terrible at this, and oh, I'm not able to do this." Not realizing like, no, you're meant to replay this if you want to do everything.
exactly, yeah.
So, at 37, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Another bit of a reverse opinion on this one because this is
Yeah,
also kind of shunned a lot, but it has its fans today.
it does. That's interesting to see it honestly so high
Mm,
because it used to be, it was like, this is the worst thing ever, but people
yeah,
have
I
started to find
think
a appreciation for it.
people nowadays kind of respect that it was very ambitious. It did the Tears of the Kingdom building mechanic for vehicles like way back then.
Yeah. 38, Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh yeah, this would be huge on PC. This is gonna be way
Yeah.
higher on PC, but
Oh yeah.
I played
Again,
so much
just
Left 4 Dead.
so much people love this game.
Yeah.
39, Beautiful Katamari.
Oh, okay, yeah. Still 360 exclusive.
Amazingly so, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 40, Castle Crashers.
Uh-huh. I was waiting for some
The
XBLA stuff.
the
Mm,
XBLA beat 'em up. Castle
yeah,
Crashers was pretty huge at the time.
for sure. Massive.
41, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
This is where it really blew up.
Mhm. This was the moment. Like it was like, oh, another World War II shooter, and then all of a sudden Modern Warfare came out. Everybody's like, what?
Yeah, yeah,
42, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed.
yeah. I mean,
I personally think it should be a lot higher because
yeah.
to me, this is even better than Mario Kart 8. Call me crazy, but I love the tracks in this game. Great
It's
lineup of characters too.
such a great sequel. You know, it just takes everything from the original, injects so much more Sega stuff, more tracks, more better balancing, then just has so many cool mechanics.
Yeah. Love it. Love it so much. 43, Alan Wake.
Yeah, yeah. This is a. I mean, I think
This
this is
felt like
kind of
another
the
big
closest.
exclusive.
Yeah, it's the closest we kind of got to like a Resident Evil 4 follow up. I love
Mm,
5, but Alan Wake kind of has those sort of tones back.
very much so. I
Yeah.
still need to play Alan Wake 2.
Mm,
So, um, at 44, Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
okay.
And we'll just go a little bit more rapid fire here. Actually, excuse me, tied for 44, along with Black Ops, was Ninja Gaiden 2.
Okay. I always preferred the first one, but two is good. Two is good as well.
I heard it's a decent follow up.
Mm.
46, Forza Horizon.
Yeah. I didn't actually get into Forza Horizon until a few sequels in. I should go back and play the original ones, but Horizon's so much better than regular Forza.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Motorsports was definitely just trying to build off of Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
It found more of its own identity with Horizon. At 47, Borderlands 2.
Never jive with Borderlands, but
Th-
I've tried
this
a
was the
few
only
times.
This was the only one I played. I played the entirety of the game in 4-player multiplayer, and that's where it was really fun.
I
Like,
bet.
we actually
Yeah.
had a good time. But I get it because I tried playing the original Borderlands and bounced. But Borderlands 2, it is better, more interesting story, a lot of fun with friends. So,
Mhm.
there's that at least. 48, Mirror's Edge.
I forgot to vote for this one. I love Mirror's Edge. I saw a few people in live audience vote for it. And I was like, man, I wish I did.
Yeah, great rental. I only rented it, but man, it was just a really just fun time, and you makes you wish that EA would experiment more, but no,
It's
no
still
way it
gorgeous
goes.
today too. I put this game in
Yeah,
4K and it's stunning.
very much so. Very stark. Speaking of EA, 49, Dead Space.
Yeah. Also, EA used to make really cool things.
They really did. I don't know what they make anymore. I don't hear much from EA,
Just
honestly.
sports games, and keep selling The Sims 4, I guess.
I guess so. But man, I platinum Dead Space. I loved it that
Oh
much.
yeah.
Um, 50, to finish us off, Super Meat Boy.
I think this should be a lot higher too.
Yeah,
Th-
this is. have a feeling this will do well when we're gonna
yeah,
have an indies section, so I
yeah,
feel like this is when that'll really rise up.
yeah. This was so 360 tied as well because it launched first on 360, and it was kind of the start of just those hard as nails platformers. And I think it's still one of the best ones. It's so precise. You got a lot of cool indie crossovers in there. Super Meat Boy is just it's sublime, and
Yeah.
the soundtrack in this one too is better than the modern one.
Oh, I didn't realize they changed
They had to change it. Yeah.
wow. Okay, I didn't realize. I missed that. So yeah, I'd say pretty solid 50. Still missing some big ones. I'd say people are wondering about. Just to round out a couple others real quick, just right after 50. Bioshock Infinite
Mm,
up there was next. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance,
yeah.
Eternal Sonata, Final Fantasy 13, Halo 4 got up this high, Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age Origins, Rayman
Okay.
Origins got like it's in the top 60. That's something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a pretty good list. There's definitely stuff missing, but that's just kind of the problem with this era is so much of it was multi-platform that you can't really fit it all in a top 50.
Yeah. It's a lot of good stuff to play. And picking out that top 10 makes it all the tougher. See what actually manages it. So I'm interesting ratio. I'd say like, let's see, one, two, three, four out of it, 6 games are were exclusive
Okay.
for Xbox 360. Technically five, if you want to count how Bioshock started out exclusive. It's timed exclusive, I guess. But nowadays it's not because it did eventually come to PS3.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but still, these interesting ratio in that regard. But yeah, we'll find out how the PlayStation 3 fares next time. That's our next top 10. So very curious what's going to dominate that one.
Same. I'm not thinking of a clear winner. Uncharted 2 and The Last of Us will probably be very high.
Yeah, I wonder how well Metal Gear Solid 4 will do.
I don't know what time has done to that one. I love Metal
I
Gear
don't
Solid
know.
4, but every now and then I hear people say that they don't. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
also hasn't been re-released, so it lacks the recency of a lot of others. So
Yeah.
hard to say on that one. Um, just personally, I already know my top PS3 game, but it's niche and it's almost certainly not going to make the top 10. But God, I hope it does. Um, Valkyria Chronicles. God, I love Valkyria
Mm.
Chronicles.
I think it might hit the top 10. It might possibly. I
We'll find
wanna
out.
I wanna
We'll
hate on
see.
Ni no Kuni a second though. I I was really excited for Ni no Kuni, and I sometimes see it rank like really highly on PS3. I think the combat system was never that great. It's a gorgeous game,
Mm,
beautiful soundtrack. I don't think the gameplay systems are as good as everything else there.
that's fair. That's fair. I enjoyed Nino Kuni when I played it, but I also don't remember much of it now. So interesting thing here. But yeah, that's uh that's our top 10 360 games. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming with plenty of extra perks. So until next time, bye.
Hey.